All right, welcome to the SLO training for adjunct faculty. This is something we've been waiting for a while, as we've got a few components in place now. And so on the chat window, hopefully you see there's something called a 2-year, that's the 2-year assessment cycle. We're clicking on that, or you can look at my screen all the time. But if you want to, just click on it, maybe save it as a bookmark. That would probably be the best, just so you see it. I'll show you a different way to get to it in a little while here. Underneath there also is a video for CSLO input. So that one, it's 3 minutes, 41 seconds, but that one tells you how to start and input SLOs into your courses. Good there. So how to create it's called the assessment shells. We will get to those two pieces here. I just want you guys to have the, that we won't do the video, I'll do something else. I'll do the live video in light of that. All right, anyways, let me jump to my screen share. That's right, that's what I want to do. I'm going to click on here and let me just get a couple of things started here. That's what I want to get to. All right, so let's go with it here. Just going with the agenda, talk through these little points real quick here. Please ask me questions as we go. So we just did introductions here. What I want as the outcome of this meeting is just for you guys to understand the general SLO process at West Hills College, what it's all about, what's the state of California want out of it. And at the same time, introduce you to the 2-year assessment cycle as we have thought through it and put things together. And talk about this semester. Where are we at this semester? What are we doing this semester? And then eventually look at the Lumen software package that we have that we use to do SLOs. So we do use also curriculum, and we're starting to do program review as well. So first of all, just the scope of SLOs, just a quick little thing. I know I always mention it in the adjunct orientations, but SLOs, or course level SLOs, they are college-wide, which means if you teach in North District Center, they are the same as if you teach at Coalinga, if you teach Avenel High School, or anything that is coming from Coalinga as a class. SLOs should be the same. If you do teach for Lemoore, those would be different. So you can't bring SLOs from the Lemoore classes into the Coalinga classes, and any other college as well. If you teach for Fresno City College, Reedley, or whatever, those would be separate SLOs. They are supposed to be a faculty-led process, a faculty-developed process, and they are a campus-wide process. And so what we've done, one of the things that we have to do is make sure that the SLOs are on the syllabi. And that's a accreditation standard that we have to abide by. So I think you all have Angela Eldridge contact you saying that she wants your syllabus. And usually you submit it, and then it says your syllabus have been submitted, and then it says that your syllabus has been approved. And what she's checking for technically is to make sure the student learning outcomes are actually on the syllabus, and they're the official ones for the class. So any of you experienced that? Anybody got rejected based upon their SLOs? Angela's saying, no, this is the wrong ones. And let me open up the chat window as well, just so I have, okay. So talk to me just to make sure you're still there. Are we good with that? Or any questions so far as up to the scope of SLOs? All right, for some reason I can't get my chat window. There it is. Okay, just took a long time here. Yes, thank you. So let me do this here. I'm gonna make my chat window a little bit bigger. So if you have any questions, I have my chat window on my second screen. So please do comment if you want to here. Yes, thank you so much. On the chat window says that, yeah, Angela has recommended sometimes corrections. I confirmed, making sure that they are correct. Absolutely, and that's a standard that we have to abide by with ACCJC. Okay, so let's go on to the next one, the use of SLOs. What were they created for? What's the use of them? And so roughly about 20 years ago, the accreditation standards changed. So the ACCJC, which is the governing board that governs us as accreditation goes, I think it's called the Accreditation Commission of Colleges and Junior Colleges. I believe that is the title here. So they give us accreditation. Just a quick little remark about it, where it came from is this whole concept of having some kind of evaluation process for education in general. And so you kind of have two models that emerged in the early 2000s. Is we either going to have end of course exams, and we're going to be based upon and evaluate schools based upon that, or we're going to have teachers themselves will go through this improvement process in order to improve their classroom and teaching as a department and as a college. And so if you have students, or if you have children in the K-12 system, they went with the first process. They have end of course exams at the end of each school year, and each school is judged by that. And then you have all these different pieces that come out of it here. Well, the college system, the junior college system, decided we're not going to go that direction. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at ourselves only. So this is where SLOs were born. So SLOs is a quality improvement piece in the classroom. That's what it's made for in the instruction side. And so what we do is we develop things that are important in the course, math, history, science, whatever it is, and we test them on the students during our testing process, and we just take an extra look at it to see, are the students really learning? And if they're not, can we change things to help learn? So this is really an improvement process. And so as I went to the conferences, the circle of SLOs is sort of what stands out all the time. So let me go through this real quickly here. And so the assessment cycle, here's the way we sort of think about it. David W. Marshall from San Bernardino, CSU, presented this here, and he said, this is what we should think about. We should think about writing SLOs, writing outcomes. This is what you want the students to do. They should be able to write an essay. They should be able to solve one variable linear equations. That's what they should be able to do. So then you identify an assessment process, a test, an essay, in PE classes, there'll be a demonstration if you're talking about PE classes. And then you gather those results. And you take the extra time to just analyze them, take it slow, see what's happening. And then does improvement need to take place? Then we go for it and we put an improvement strategy in place. And then the cycle, again, cycles back and it keeps on going. But the center of it all should be students. That's the whole concept here. So students and student improvement, what are the students doing as opposed to what have I taught them? That's the whole difference there. So it's a mindset change as well. So you name the expectation for them. They are going to do this to make sure that I know that they've learned the topic. You build an exam question or demonstration so they can communicate those expectations to you. You collect the work. You determine the extent of the learning. Did they not? What's happening? Is there a little bottleneck in the process? And then you strategize an improvement plan. But it's all centered around students here. Just a quick example, maybe a good one would be, we had the full-time business econ instructor at the college. It was for accounting actually. She did this project at the end of each semester, which they have to do a whole write-up of a company. And so it's broken up, it's a 2-week process. So one of her SLOs is this whole concept right here. And as she was looking at it, she figured out, well, students do this very well, students do this very well, but it comes to this third part, that's when the grades go down really bad. And so she said, Arcadia, this is so awesome. I finally found the bottleneck in this process. It's this. And so she restructured that piece of it. And then it went from there. And it was actually just a technology issue. Kids needed a little help with Excel and they needed help with PowerPoint, but that's not even part of the course. The course is just to get the content across. So it's this extra look at what you're doing, extra look to see if the students are actually learning and what are the gaps there. So it is student-centered. And so the thing is, it's not teacher-centered. I think a lot of times in K-12, it becomes very school-centered and teacher-centered. This process is supposed to be very much looking at the student. Did they learn it? Did they not? Were they able to communicate what they learned? And so it does reflect a little bit, of course, on how we teach and how we teach it. But the whole goal is not to evaluate you in the process. In fact, if you have been evaluated, the only question on there is, do you do your SLOs? Do you do the assessment of them. That's all. And so admin don't even have access in Illumin to your results, because that's not, the whole point is not for them to see results. The whole point is to see if you are participating in the process. That's it. So the accepting responsibility for the student learning is really not so much as did they learn or not, is do we reflect back upon if they learned it and what can we do to change if they need to. And then we do experiments to see new strategies. I know the poli-sci instructor, what he did is when he did it, the students were getting low grades on one, and just kind of dawned on him. It was like, why am I teaching it this way? I actually should be teaching this piece first, and then I should be teaching this second piece first, and then totally changed. One more example, maybe the admin justice instructor here at the college. She was, she didn't like the course sequence that the students really went through, because students could take any class they wanted. But eventually she figured out, you know, if this is going to work and I'm going to get the results I want, I actually think I need this course to come before this other course. So AOJ 6 has to come before AOJ 10. That's the way it's going to work. And that's what it's all about. It's this focus on improvement, namely from the student perspective of them showing that they can handle the work, as at the same time they are actually learning. All right, any questions up until this point? Just want to open it up. Does this make sense to you as a philosophical view of education and student learning? Cool, okay, I see the chat window, a few posts there, that's cool. Anybody else chime in, or are we good? Audibly or by chat? Okay, let's go on. So how do we do this in West Hills College? So there's a few components that we have to get used to and we have to sort of get familiar with. So that's what we want to do here. So the first thing is the 2-year assessment cycle. The link is right here. You do have the link in the chat box if you want to go there. I will show you how to get there sort of manually here, but for the most part, all full-time faculty, what they've done is they went over here, they clicked on it, and they pretty much save it as a bookmark somewhere on their browser. So they can get to it. You look at it usually towards the beginning of the semester to see if you need to assess or not. And then that's about it. So you use it usually 2, maybe 3 times a year. And so if you click on this, you're doing well. The other way to do it is to go to the portal, and it kind of a lengthy way to do it here. Student learning outcomes, resources for Illumin, and the assessment cycle. It's going to be exactly the same link, but for purposes of the video, let me just go to it real quickly here. So I'm going to jump to and bring my other browser up here. So getting into the portal, oh, you know what? It allows us to show off our new portal page that just became live yesterday. So now as you log in, you got to declare if you're a student or staff. And as you log in, it has changed quite a bit. A lot of moving parts here now. It used to be a stagnant page. Now it's kind of live page. A few features that I like out of this is this whole concept of a search field here. So if you need to search for something, that's the way we'll actually use this in a little bit here. All right, so let me go down the list here. Our team sites, the stuff that we use in order to work on the back end of things, are actually all the way towards the bottom. That I didn't like so much, but they didn't ask me for some reason. So going through, there's a resources feature. That was pretty cool. Forms are all in one place now, as opposed to being scattered abroad. And then right over here, towards the bottom, here are your work groups. You have a different set than mine, I'm pretty sure. And it is a searchable field as well here. So these are all the committees I'm a part of, or at least been tagged to be a part of. And for you, probably as adjunct faculty, you probably have work groups to probably like forms or anything that Angie has put up, anything from Office of Educational Services. somewhere in that range here, but I'm going to look for student because that's the easiest way I get there. It's the Student Learning Outcomes Committee. That's the one I chair as well, and this is where all these things lie. So going over here, and it tells you a few things here. SLO members are right here. And if you ever want to get to somebody here and you can't get in touch with me, please do so. So if you're part of the STEM learning area, here's our rep. Ask her any questions. She knows it all. If you're in the arts and letters field, you can click, and this should be a click just by email. They'll get there. And so there's your little list of people you can contact if you're just not getting the responses you need. But we want to get to right here is resources for Illumin right over here. So clicking on resources for Illumin, it's really just a PDF. It's the same link that we had before. And I'm going to click on this link. And hopefully it comes up very soon. Okay, so let me jump back to this and just let me use this one then. This is the link that I put in the PowerPoint. So I give it just a few seconds here to load up. All right, it is a Google Doc or a Google Sheet. The link that I gave you, you are able to look at it. You should not be able to change anything on it because this is something that goes through a little process that we have at the college, changing things. But please do look on the right-hand side. All this stuff on the left-hand side is really for me. This is my account. Make sure they're valid, make sure they're active. Are the courses in Illumin or not? All those little things that need to be done on the back end, but on the right-hand side of the page. Here's all the classes you teach. And it says the assessment cycle that we're in. So right here, since we're in fall 2020, we are right here. So even year fall, this is where we're at right there. And so as you scroll, as you're going into spring of next year, and if you're teaching a class for spring of next year, you may want to look over here just to sort of see if your class is going to be assessed or should be on the assessment cycle for that year. And so you go from there. Anything that has yellow highlights, those are the classes that just became new in here or just coming in. So anything with highlights means something is in process there, or it just tells you as we're still cleaning up things here. All right. So please use this right before the semester starts just to make sure you know whether you are being assessed for the semester here. But Angie did send out a email to all full-time and part-time faculty in regards to whether you have an assessment this semester here. And she sent it out on November 6th at about 7 a.m. And so let me get to that. If you, I'm going to get to that. It should look like something like this in the email here. So let's talk about this first, and then we'll kind of enter a little discussion as we go. So this has come kind of in the middle of the semester, not in the beginning. Starting spring 2021, it will come to you right at the beginning of the semester as we're going to try to assess all the SLOs. I know it came especially for adjuncts for you guys. The full-time teachers knew already because they have access to the 2-year calendar or assessment cycle. They knew that they had assessed theirs. But as we're bringing you as adjuncts onto this process, it's almost like if you can, please assess the semester, but if not, at least be really ready for next semester. That's kind of the gist of why we're having this, this training here. So the red means it's not offered. For some reason or another, assessment will not take place for this class. The green means it is offered. And so let me go down the list right here. As you see your name, please stop me. And we can have just a quick little conversation if need be about anything that you need to perform the SLO assessments. Patrick, I see your name here.
Yes, what's that mean?
Okay, so a few things first here. So notice that I did send them out. Angie did send out the email on November 6th, right? Some classes are actually already finished. Some classes were about to finish that same day. So there is an expectation is if you can assess, please do. But if you can't, that's okay for this semester. Patrick, you have a course that's also taught by a lot of full-time faculty members, including me, right over here. So as faculty members, so real quick, generally, if you teach a class that is also taught by a full-time faculty member, please reach out to those full-time faculty members. And they have probably, most likely, assessments already made for that. And so they will guide you. They'll probably will send you the assessment link, or say, this is how we do the process. That is really good. So Patrick, if you can email Alex Salim, that's the person there. He's the person in charge of, and he's already prepped all the SLOs. He did a good job. He prepped all the SLOs for all the classes that we teach in mathematics. So it's all done. Just get it from him. You push it into Canvas and you're good to go.
Okay, I'll do that first thing tomorrow.
Awesome. Okay, and let's see. I see Christopher, nutrition.
Yes.
Christopher, if you can reach out to, oh, so your class is already done. So that's a little problem that we're having as we're putting this together here. No need to reach out to Grit because he's the one in charge. We'll just let it ride this semester. Starting next semester, again, we're going to do this training a lot earlier in the semester. I will have this list out to you a lot earlier in the semester. Are we good?
Okay.
Okay, so no need to worry there. The issue that we kind of are running up against is people that teach, and there's no full-time faculty member that's also teaching this class. So in that case, it almost like you bear the burden of make sure that you can create the exam for it and assess it and reflect upon it. So, and those we kind of, either the SLO committee helps out in that process, or I just guide you along with the process as well. So anybody else that's teaching a class that is being assessed this semester, as I go down the list, think about the bottom of the list. Okay, I don't see anybody else, so that's a good thing. So we'll just prepare for the spring semester. That'll be great. Okay, one more thing to mention here is the fact that these exams, and it was mentioned at the noon meeting, so I should mention it, is the fact that these exams are just things you do in class already. These SLOs are things that it's part of the class, and it's the important part of the class. So for mathematics, for teaching an algebra class, graphing is a pretty important concept for students to grasp. And so we should say something along the lines of students will be able to graph a line having two variables. And so if you have not made a test for that already, it could be part of the test you have already made in the class. Let's say you're testing chapter 4, and for instance, for example, the math thing, chapter 4 is our graphing chapter. And so as you get to the end of chapter 4, there's gonna be questions in there that you already use, that you already do, that test graphing. And those are the ones that you're gonna take to put into the SLO. Okay, we're good there? Let's go to the Illumin piece of it, and then we'll sort of see how that all fits together. And please ask me the questions then, if it makes sense. Okay, the other piece, just real quick before we get to Illumin, is the SLO assessment day. So at the end of every semester, the full-time faculty and part-time faculty, adjunct faculty, you're absolutely invited to join as well. This year is going to be the 11th of December. It's usually held the Friday before finals week. That's when all instruction is all over. And that is, Angie will send an invite to you. Angela was going to send an invite to you or me, one of the two. And you're welcome to sit in on the classroom discussion, like Patrick, for you, for instance, especially when there's a big, a lot of other full-time faculty members also teaching the same class. That's a good way for you to interact with the full-time faculty members here, see what the results that they got, see how they teach the concept, And that's this whole concept of improvement that we have. All right, Rebecca, I see the chat window here. Yep. Few enrollment instructors on the list. Work today, for example, please let me know if consistent helping them connect in the process. Absolutely. Let me go back to the list real quickly here. Thank you so much on the chat. So dual enrollment. And I'm going to go just pick on this one right here. Is that okay? Rebecca, for that one?
Yes, so like Delicia, those two, and then right below her, Guadalupe, Mendoza, those two that are marked MHS. So the two FHS and MHS, so you've got 4 in student development.
Perfect. Okay. So Delicia, she was in the noon hour. I did talk to her about it.
Great.
Part of it is to reach out to Grit right here. He's teaching it because he's a full-time faculty member. Or in fact, you know what, even better yet, Erin Carrillo would be the one best to reach out. She has the SLOs already because student services developed all of them, just like the math folk. And so we're trying to get this whole concept together as full-time reach out to part-time and part-time reach out to full-time, just so we can have this flow of things. And so especially class ending in December, I think there's enough time for them to plan an assessment and actually complete it.
Okay, that would be great. And then Brooke up in Poli Sci 1, Brooke Workington.
Oh yes, right here.
She also.
Perfect, yeah. So Kevin Wilds is the full-time faculty member. And I kind of helped the adjunct faculty real quickly here. Notice that you guys have little check marks. And then the ones without the check marks, those are the full-time faculty members. So please take the time, just reach out to them, especially if you're teaching the same exact class as them. They would have everything you need.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question as well. All right, let's go to here. So this video link, I'll let you see it yourself. It's really short, it's 3 minutes long, under 4 minutes long, and it's gonna tell you exactly how to put in data. But I do wanna just show you Illumin as a whole, and then we'll sort of see the different pieces there. And so I'm not gonna have you guys go here. I am gonna teach you guys how to go to the portal again, and how you get from the portal to the Illumin website here. So let me go to West Hills Community College. Let's see if I can move this real quickly here. Now let me go back to West Hills College, the front side here. And so if you want to go with me, and if you just want to visit the site exactly on your computers, I'm doing it here. If you just want to watch the recording later, that's fine. So going to the portal again as staff, clicking in here. Now on the top left of the page, here are all the bookmarks we have. So these are sites that we can go to. These are applications that are not the same as West Hills College. They're outside of West Hills College, but you can link to them. And so Canvas is one of them as you get to your courses right over here. Board Docs is how we handle our governance meetings. So all underneath here is all these little things here. What we want to get to is Illumin, and it's for Kalinga, because Lemoore is a separate system, separate college, separate everything as far as SLOs go here. So if you click on here, you're going to go to the Illumin website, and the username is your first and last name, what you normally use to identify your email, but without the rest of it. So first name, last name. Your passcode is what you normally use to sign into your emails, to sign into the portal itself. It's the same exact login. So as you click into it, let me change mine to faculty because that's what you are listed as. And then please try to go into it just to make sure you can go into it. That's what you want to see. Especially as a new adjunct faculty, sometimes it's not listed in there for you. Okay, as you go in, I'm going to come in as math faculty. And so you will see this right here. So not to overwhelm you too much, we're going to come back to this here, but I just want to focus on these 2 buttons right here. And so courses, but let's go to SLOs first. So this is SSOs it says, but once you click on it, it changes into SLOs because it recognizes you're a faculty member. So if you want to see your SLOs for a particular class, then you can just scroll down right here. And so if you teach in 2 different disciplines or 3 different disciplines, you're going to have these little pull down menus that can go to different pieces here. And so in mathematics, it just stays right here. SLOs, and then it just kind of lists the classes, it lists the SLOs there, and also the expected value here, as well as what the numbers are from last semester. So that's kind of cool there. Let's see, it says fall 2020. This semester, I almost want to say it's ongoing. This is an ongoing list here. All right. And do these change? They hardly ever change, because once full-time faculty build a course and it's all set, these do generally stay the same. They don't change from semester to semester. They really stay with the course. Okay, so there's SLOs. If you ever want to see what are they do sometimes change, right? As with a new course that comes in, or maybe there needs to be a revision because it was not written correctly. That's the only time you'll see changes there. Okay, so SLOs and assessments. Are we good here? Everybody knows where to go to find their SLOs just in case they need to see them. Okay, I'm going to go with that with a yes. If you didn't have any questions. So let's go back up to this little button right here. It says courses, and then it says the semester. And so when you click on it, the new feature that Illumin has is the fact that you can build your own assessment shells right away. In semesters prior, I had to build them for you and had to plan them for you. So this is a new thing. The other thing you should know about Illumin is the fact that for some reason, the default is always a semester ahead. And so notice it says spring 2021. So I'm going to go back to fall 2020. And what needs to happen is your assessment should look something like this right here. It should say a number called 0, and then afterwards it should have a number of how many students are in the class. So this one, it says for Math 25, it says you have 16 students and 0 have been assessed, or you've put in scores for 0. If you have a green check mark like that, that means you are done. You've put in your assessment results already. So how do you do it? Let me just try. I'm going to try to see if I'm going to go spring 21, because I already have students there. I should be able to do this here. So the question is, how do you build assessment shell? So Patrick, for you, you would look for Math 25 over here. You'd be looking in the fall 2020 semester. And then what you would do is you click on Find Assessments. Don't click on Add Assessments. Find Assessments. And there should be listed SLO results right over here. And so let me just see, just out of curiosity here, I want to see next semester's Math 25. Okay, so they're not showing as of yet. So the video that I made on there and the link to, those are the ones going to show you actually how to do the assessment shells and how to set them up. And so let me click back on here. And so with it, you should see this right here. So let me show you how to actually put in results themselves. I'm going to click on one of them. And there are 2 different views that are here in order to enter scores. This one I don't like too much. This is by student. So you click on the student, click on what grade they got, and it allows you to have these little assessment results. That's not normally how we do stuff in West Hills College. We go the other way. We go on something called a scorecard view. It's almost like a roster view. And here's my roster for CSLO number 2. And I can erase it a little later on. I have to do some back-end stuff. So I just want to show you how this works. And so after you've given the assessment for SLO 2, in this one, it requires them to construct a confidence interval in order to estimate a population mean. And then the students will construct it here. So there's what the assessment is. The students took a test on it. It may be a test of a larger, maybe it was all of chapter 4 altogether, but then I took these 3 or 4 or 5 questions out to give them a grade on. And technically the 5 is an A, the 4 is a B, then you have C is a 3, D is a D, and then you have the F, and then you have NA, which means the student did not take the exam at all. So there's your NA. I was not able to assess because the student was not there. So the way you give scores, you just click on the numbers themselves. So Diana got a 5. I'm just going to fill this in just real quickly here. And then this person did not show up for the test. This person did not show up for the test. I got another A, I got a B, an A, a C, and I went down the list. So really easy to input, and there it is. And so what you want to do is you want to save the scores. One second here. Of course, it does not work exactly how I want it to work. May I try another one just real quickly here? Let me try another class. For some reason, I wanted to do something else there. So let's see what it's going to do. Okay, that's what I want. It should say save and continue to reflection right over here. So let me really quickly give grades to these people here. So this person got that. This person was not there to take the exam. And that's the grade for these students. Okay, and that's what it should work after you've graded your assessment. And then if you click save, the only problem is we don't ever do that. It just means you're going to save your assessment results, but we want you to continue to the reflection template right over here. So save, continue to reflection. And you're going to just have a series of questions to reflect upon the student learning. So first one focuses on the assessment itself. The question is, did you test well? Was it aligned to what you wanted to test them with? Is it a good way to test? So this is all talking about the exam itself, or the rubric, or the demonstration that you want them to go through here. Was it a valid test? Was it an accurate test? So you talk about the test itself. Yes, it was a good test. It did test the students. Or no, this did not test because it didn't test this aspect of it. And so you would put all that in and make it somewhat robust, because people coming after you can read these, and they would be able to craft their exam. Or this also can be passed on during program review. So these comments could be passed on later on. All right, then the big one is right here. Focus on the results themselves. These are the questions you want to answer. First things first is, did anything surprising come out of this? Was student performance good? Was it outstanding? Are there any issues that were revealed? And so any areas where it can be improved. So just 3 or 4 sentences on the assessment results. So if this was a graphing section, something along the lines of, yeah, the students knew exactly how to grade or graph lines, except they did not know about vertical lines. They got stuck on vertical lines. And so there's that little piece there. Or it could be that this chapter really should follow after chapter 5. It's too soon for the students to understand this material. So there's those little pieces there. Students did not do so well because of such and such, or the students did very well because of this. And so that's where this belongs. And then the culminating piece right here is just the focus on improvement. So this one, you do want to say if you're going to improve or not, because this one is going to trigger an action. It's called an action plan in Lumen, which means I do want to change this in the class. So for the business instructor, she said, I want to change the bottleneck in this process. I am going to, and I forgot what she did. I think she had students turn in their drafts to me directly before they go on to this step. And so that's what she did here. So it was more a pedagogical change in the class. Now the poli-sci instructor flipped when he's going to actually lecture on the process. And then here it is, the AOJ instructor says, I'm going to do a curriculum change. I'm going to put in a prerequisite for AOJ 10, which is going to be AOJ 6. And that's it. So there's a curricular change, but be very specific if you want to change something here. And so the other piece is, do you always want to fill that out? I have an instructor that teaches 6 classes. There's no way that instructor is going to be able to, let's see, each class has about 3 different SLOs. So that person is looking at 18 different course level SLOs. And I told them, look, you're not going to be able to change all 18. So focus on the ones, maybe like pick one or maybe pick two. That would be like, I can focus this for improvement. So again, the whole goal is improvement. Where do you want to improve? And so there's that particular faculty member said, yeah, this one was very low and this one was very low. I'm going to really look at these two. And so that's the piece they took. All right, two different buttons, submit and share. And this is the button that we normally use at West Hills College. It just means your name is tagged to the comments right here. So this comments gets in a repository, stays there. This button was added or was here a long time ago because when SLOs first started out, there was a little bit of a culture at junior colleges, which admin would look if your assessment results were bad, then you may have got bad evaluations. And that's a culture that has really gone by the wayside already, maybe a good 5 years away. Admin don't have access to your results. They don't see your results. They will never see your results. The only thing they do see is whether you completed your assessments or not. That's what they do. They see whether you've filled out the grades on the back end and you filled out your reflection template and you submitted it. That's all they see. So normally we click here and then it goes to this little window. And so what you can do is you can go to the results explorer. It actually tells you what the results are, or you can go back to your courses. So if you need to go back to your courses, that means you're going to put in another SLO. And so clicking on here, it takes you back to this little window. It says, I'm done here, ready to input the next one. Okay, does that make sense? Any questions so far? I know it's a bit overwhelming. I don't want to overwhelm you guys at first. In the spring semester, I foresee us doing trainings earlier on in the semester. Again, reviewing this whole concept of putting input data at the same time, then going to this little results explorer, seeing how you look at the data itself. I think for this semester, it's just a matter of just us beginning to do it, beginning to communicate with part-time faculty and full-time faculty and beginning this process. So any questions here? Any questions up to this point? When all the check marks are here, you got a green, 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 all the way down, you are done assessing and you have finished your assessment process. And so still waiting for a response. Go ahead, anybody talk to me, see if we're good or not.
Katie, I have a question. I'm wondering who does see your results? Do other faculty members see them?
Let's see other faculty, as they're doing their program review, and that's what this is. You do a course level SLOs, and that stay as course level. The only time it bubbles up is when you do program review. So in full-time faculty, when they're doing the program review process, they can dig down to your comments, and that's more of a general now idea. So you have this whole concept of an example, the AOJ instructor, right? So when they do their program review, they do have an SLO piece of it. So they have to dig down to sort of see how SLOs are going in the whole course. And what they're doing is now they can see the whole entire stretch of all the AOJ classes at one time. And that's the whole concept here. So if they need to change something like, whoa, this is still not working. How come these classes are high, these classes are low? That's what they're trying to see. Mm-hmm. And if they want to dig down some more, then like, okay, what's going on with AOJ 10? You know, and as they dig down, they're like, oh, I see now. That makes sense because now they put a prerequisite of AOJ 6 on it. And so, okay, hopefully next time around, these will be higher. So in that kind of sense, they can see those.
Okay, excellent. And are these things that maybe like in learning areas or somewhere? I'm just wondering, so if we're doing this process and we're reviewing them and we're reflecting on our outcomes, mm-hmm. Is there a place where then those maybe conversations and refinement processes happen collaboratively?
Absolutely. So
Okay.
this little SLO assessment date right here, this is our little time to reflect as a campus, as a college. Now that everybody's online, it's not person to person. So everything's happening virtually. So that is the day that kind of two different frames of mind here. So the English department is huge. Math department is huge. I mean, huge meaning like 4 people. And so if you teach in one of those, that's a good way to come together with a full-time faculty member and saying, look, these are the results I got. What did you get? Or how do you teach this concept? Or what do you do here? That's the little pieces there. And then at that point, then you guys can decide as a whole to say, yes, I'm going to improve this and the improvement really is a department improvement. So notice the reflection template only gets you so far. And so then as you have the conversation with the full-time faculty member, you say, yes, we do need to improve this, or we do need to change the book. And so at that point, it's going to lead to, as Illumin calls it, an action plan. And so a full-time faculty member or adjunct, they're going to email me, or there's going to be a little process that's going to be in place. Or I maybe look at the last input of the reflection template. I send the action plan to you. This is a quick little fill out. You just connect it to the CSLO you want to improve, and you can even copy and paste that last input of the reflection template. And it stays there so that you know you have a task to do. So next time you're going to teach AOJ 6, you're going to do this. Or next time you teach poli-sci, you're going to do this. And so the next time you teach it, up front, yes, I've made the change. And now the question is, did that improve or not? Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. And so if you are teaching this semester and you're assessing and you're going to assess, please take the time just to watch the little video. That'll be a quick thing to go through and sort of see it. All right. I'm going to jump to this one. Here's the assessment template again. Just want to, if you want to see the questions ahead of time, because it kind of helps to see them ahead of time, and I'll send out the PowerPoint, or Angela will send out the PowerPoint this PowerPoint to the adjuncts. All right, so my contact information, if in case you need to reach out to me, there it is. Or you can also go to the West Hills College website, and under resources, right, you can get a directory of faculty or staff as well. So beyond that, any questions? I think we're coming to the 6 o'clock hour as well. Please ask me any questions that you have. And let me get out of screen share so I can see your faces now. All right.
Thank you, Katie.
Absolutely. So let's see, I'm going to finish the recording as well because